at SMPTE. I'm here with Randy Reck from MTI Film. We're gonna take a sip of red wine first. Cheers! Thank you for coming, Randy.
Cheers, Randy. You're welcome.
So, Randy.
Yes, Randy.
You are a member of SMPTE.
I am.
Can you talk about how long? You don't have to mention years. I don't want to make you do that. But how long you've been involved in SMPTE and why it's important that you're a member?
Ooh, it's been many years, and it's important because all the cool nerds are members. And there's some really intense user groups, committees, and white papers that all are sort of preludes to the standards that we all know and love. And that's it's been fun to be a part of that.
Yeah.
To watch the gears turn. In a couple of cases, things have really gone as planned. The standard is written and manufacturers have joined in. For instance, in the IMF world, it's really fun to watch and fun to be a part of.
Yeah. It's literally helping the industry, right? Coming up with these standards.
It is. Along. You know, we think of SMPTE as that group of professors with the documents and standards, but in this case, it's a bunch of people really connected to the industry and making a whole new way of working for the OTTs, the streaming services, and those post-production outfits and aggregators that supply media to them. It's really a good thing.
It is. And you guys, so MTI Film, you make product, and then you also have a post-house component as well. Why don't you talk a little bit about the products that you make and what they do?
Sure. Yeah, on the product side, we have two software products. We've got Cortex, which is our dailies, IMF generating, DCP generating, transcoding software. And then we've got DRS Nova, which is our digital restoration software. It's been around for many years, but we keep adding features and modernizing it. On the Cortex side, we've really put a lot of time into Dolby Vision recently. We've got some industry firsts in the way we handle Dolby Vision graphically. It's just so intuitive, the direction we try to go. Looking at the operators using it, we do have this built-in beta test group, which happens to be our post-production side of the business. We have many—
Makes perfect sense.
Many TV shows that we're doing the finish on, as well as a few features, and watching how people interact with our product before it hits the open market, out in the wild, is really important because we can refine that user experience.
Sure.
We added several things to Cortex recently. All of the IMF flavors that people are looking for when they're delivering to Netflix and other OTTs. It's really been added to work in, like I said, an intuitive way. We've done DCP encryption and some of the things that are needed in the features world as well. On the DRS Nova side, film restoration, we've really embraced the GPU this year. And this is something that was a long time coming, but the product it has been around for a long time, and we evolve with technology. Recently, we've accelerated things like a one-button stabilization, zonal deflicker, and a lot of the other film restoration tools that normally you'd have to wait a little while for. Now with GPU acceleration, things are quite immediate. And
sure.
It's awesome.
Now, you recently partnered with AMD. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Kind of an interesting event, we were not only selling our Cortex software that does transcoding, and in that transcoding, IMF generation process, even the dailies encoding, Cortex uses a combination of GPU and CPU. We have tried many different hardware platforms. We use all of the standard Supermicro workstations, Hewlett-Packard, Z8, you name it. And we found that the sweet spot seems to be a 2 GPU kind of mid-range or middle-sized workstation that can keep up with the big boys. It can do everything you need, but we had been using dual CPU motherboards for forever, like everybody else.
Sure.
And one day, the engineers from AMD walked in with this CPU called Threadripper, and
sure.
said, "Here, try this out." I was a bit skeptical. I put the same 2 GPUs on this Threadripper motherboard that I had used with the Intel Dual Xeons, and this single Threadripper outran the 2 Dual Xeon chips. And I thought, well, this has got to be a fluke. This can't be right. And the AMD guys rolled in and said, yeah, we've got this lower priced single chip called a Threadripper, the CPU that outruns the Dual Xeons. And I was blown away. Recently, they introduced the Threadripper 2. And we kind of quickly realized as a company, we need to be a partner with these people, because the hardware platform that we're using, mainly for Cortex, but also for DRS Nova, is something that we've tried a lot of different solutions, but this seems to be a really good sweet spot for performance versus price versus size. We're just very positive on AMD.
It's fantastic. Anything else new that we need to know from MTI Film?
Let's see. Well, we've got lots of things that we're working on. Let's just say regarding HDR, Dolby Vision, stay tuned. If you think Cortex is the most user-friendly interface in the IMF world right now, just stay tuned, because it gets better.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, Randy, for taking the time and coming by the booth and having a glass of wine with us.
You're welcome, Randy.
Cheers, Randy.
Cheers, Randy.